Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi, everyone. We are very happy to see you here today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're talking about a phrase that many people have heard before: money can't buy everything. It sounds simple, but when you really think about it, there's a lot behind those words. Mike, what comes to your mind when you hear that phrase?
Hi, everyone. For me, it means that money is important, but there are some things in life that are more valuable than money. You can buy products, services, and experiences, but you can't walk into a store and buy real friendship, true love, or inner peace.
I agree. Sometimes people focus so much on wealth that they forget to ask themselves what they truly want. Many people think that more money automatically leads to more happiness and success, but life is often more complicated than that.
That's true. I remember when I got my first full-time job, I was very excited because I finally had a steady income. I thought that earning more money would solve every problem in my life.
And did it?
Not really. Some things improved. I could pay my bills more easily and enjoy a few comforts, but I still worried about my future, and I still had difficult days. Money helped in some areas, but it didn't create complete satisfaction.
I had a similar experience. Years ago, I saved money for a long time to buy something I really wanted. I thought I would feel happy for months. The truth is that the excitement lasted only a short time. After a few weeks, that feeling disappeared.
That's a great example. We often connect happiness with things we want to own. Then, after we get them, we start looking for something else.
I think the real value of money is that it gives us options and opportunities. It can make life easier, but it doesn't guarantee a meaningful life.
Well said. Success is also different for different people. Some people measure success by wealth, while others by family, health, personal growth, or helping others.
So when people say money can't buy everything, they're reminding us that some of life's greatest treasures don't come with a price tag.
And that's a lesson many people learn only after spending years chasing more and more money.
One of the most common debates in life is whether money can buy happiness. People have been discussing this for generations, and there are strong opinions on both sides.
I can understand why. Money certainly solves many problems. If you're struggling to pay rent, buy food, or cover medical expenses, having more money can reduce a lot of stress.
That's an important point. Financial security gives people stability. When basic needs are met, people often feel safer and more comfortable in their daily lives.
Right. Imagine worrying every month about paying your bills. That kind of pressure can affect your mood, relationships, and health. Having enough money removes some of that burden.
But having enough money and having unlimited money are two different things. Once people reach a comfortable level, additional money doesn't always create more happiness.
I've read stories about wealthy individuals who seem to have everything. They had beautiful homes, expensive cars, and luxurious lifestyles. Yet many of them still felt lonely or dissatisfied.
That's because emotional well-being comes from many sources. Relationships, purpose, personal growth, and good health all play important roles.
I know someone who earns a modest income but genuinely enjoys life. He spends time with his family, has hobbies he loves, and feels grateful for what he has.
Gratitude makes a huge difference. Some people spend their lives comparing themselves to others. No matter how much money they have, they always want more.
That can become an endless cycle. Instead of appreciating what they already have, they keep chasing the next goal.
So perhaps money can support happiness, but it cannot create it by itself.
I think that's a fair conclusion. Money can provide comfort, reduce stress, and improve your lifestyle, but true happiness depends on much more than your bank account.
Another area where money has limits is friendship and relationships. This is where the phrase, money can't buy everything, becomes very clear.
I couldn't agree more. Money may attract people, but it doesn't guarantee genuine friendships.
A genuine friend stays with you during good times and difficult times. Their friendship isn't based on what you can give them financially.
Trust is a huge part of that. If someone only spends time with you because of your money, it's difficult to know whether they're trustworthy.
Have you ever met someone like that?
Yes, years ago, I knew a person who suddenly became very friendly whenever someone was paying for meals or entertainment. When there was nothing to gain, that friendliness disappeared.
That's disappointing, but it happens. Sometimes people mistake convenience for friendship.
Real friends are different. They offer support when you're facing challenges. They listen when you're having a bad day. Those things can't be purchased.
Loyalty is another quality that money can't buy. A loyal friend stands by you even when circumstances change.
That's what makes relationships so valuable. The strongest connection between people is built through shared experiences, trust, and mutual respect.
I think many people learn this lesson over time. They discover that a small group of caring friends is worth far more than a large group of people who only appear when there's something to gain.
And when life becomes difficult, that's when you truly discover who your genuine and loyal friends are. Their support means far more than any amount of money.
That reminds me of something my grandmother used to say. She believed that when people look back at their lives, they rarely talk about how much money they earned. They talk about the people who stood beside them.
I like that. Family often becomes the strongest example of what money cannot replace. Financial help can be useful, but emotional support is something very different.
I remember family dinners when I was growing up. The meals were simple and we didn't have anything luxurious. Yet those evenings created some of my favorite memories.
It's interesting how that works. Children usually don't remember the price of things. They remember conversations, laughter, and moments spent together.
That's why I think quality time is one of the greatest gifts people can offer. You can spend money on expensive presents, but giving someone your attention can mean even more.
My parents taught me that lesson without saying it directly. My father worked hard, but he always made time for family activities. Looking back, those experiences strengthened our bond.
Family relationships require effort. People sometimes assume that family members will always stay close, but strong connections grow through regular care and communication.
Very true. I've seen relatives who rarely talk to each other despite having financial success. I've also seen families with modest incomes who share a warm and supportive relationship.
The difference often comes down to priorities. Some people become so busy earning money that they forget to nurture the people around them.
And once years pass, those missed opportunities can be difficult to recover. Children grow up, parents grow older, and life keeps moving forward.
That's one reason I try to appreciate family more now than I did when I was younger. Back then, I assumed everyone would always be there.
Many people think that way until they realize how quickly time passes. Family gatherings that once felt ordinary later become treasured memories.
In the end, family support provides something money never can. It creates a sense of belonging and comfort during both happy and difficult times.
And those family bonds often become the foundation that helps people face life's challenges with confidence and strength.
Speaking of life's challenges, another area where money has clear limits is health. People often spend years building wealth, but a health problem can suddenly change everything.
That's a powerful reality. We often hear people say that health is priceless, and I think there's a lot of truth in that statement.
Money can certainly help when someone becomes sick. It can provide access to medical care, treatments, and professional support.
That's important because good healthcare can improve someone's chances of recovery. Having financial resources can make difficult situations a little easier to manage.
At the same time, there are things money cannot guarantee. A wealthy person and an ordinary person can both face serious health challenges.
That's what makes health so valuable. You can't simply purchase perfect well-being whenever you want it.
I started thinking more about this after a friend experienced a health scare a few years ago. During that period, his focus completely changed.
What happened?
Before that experience, he spent most of his energy pursuing career goals. Afterward, he became more focused on rest, healthy habits, and spending time with loved ones.
Experiences like that often change people's perspectives. They remind us that success means very little if we aren't physically or mentally healthy enough to enjoy it.
Healthy habits may sound simple, but they matter. Regular exercise, good nutrition, and proper sleep can have a huge impact on our lives.
I agree. Many people wait until a problem appears before paying attention to their health. Prevention is often easier than treatment.
Another important point is mental health. Emotional well-being deserves just as much attention as physical health.
Absolutely. A person may appear successful from the outside while struggling internally. Taking care of our minds is just as important as taking care of our bodies.
When you think about it, health influences nearly every part of life. It affects our relationships, work, hobbies, and future plans.
Which is why many people eventually realize that a healthy lifestyle is one of the best investments they can make.
There's one more thing closely connected to this conversation, and that's time. In many ways, time may be even more valuable than money.
That's interesting because people often say time is money, but I think time is actually more precious.
I feel the same way. If you lose money, you can earn it again. If you lose time, you can never get it back.
That's a simple idea, yet many of us forget it in our daily lives. We become busy following schedules, meeting deadlines, and chasing goals.
Sometimes people work so much that they miss important moments with family and friends. Years later, they wish they had made different choices.
I know someone who spent decades focused almost entirely on work. He achieved professional success, but he later admitted that he missed many important events in his children's lives.
That kind of regret can stay with a person for a long time. Money may provide comfort, but it cannot recreate missed experiences.
This is where work-life balance becomes important. People need time for responsibilities, but they also need time for relationships, hobbies, and rest.
Finding that balance isn't always easy. Modern life can be demanding, and many people feel pressure to stay productive all the time.
That's true, but every person eventually decides what their priorities are. We all choose how we spend the limited hours available to us.
And every day presents an opportunity to invest time in something meaningful. Small moments often become the memories we value most later in life.
Which is why protecting your time may be one of the smartest decisions you can make. Unlike money, it is a resource that never replenishes once it's gone.
Listening to everything we've discussed so far makes me think about another interesting question. If you had some extra money, would you spend it on things or on experiences?
These days, I'd probably choose experiences. When I was younger, I was more interested in buying possessions. I thought owning certain things would make me happier.
I think many people go through that phase. New purchases can feel exciting for a while, but the feeling often fades faster than expected.
That's what I noticed. I can barely remember many of the items I was once excited to buy. Yet I still remember trips, conversations, and adventures from years ago.
Travel is a great example. Even a short trip can create memorable moments. You meet new people, try different foods, and see life from a different perspective.
I agree. One of my favorite memories came from a weekend trip that wasn't expensive at all. The weather wasn't perfect and nothing went according to plan, but somehow it became one of the most enjoyable experiences I've ever had.
That's often how it works. The most meaningful moments aren't always carefully planned. Sometimes they're unexpected.
Learning new skills can be valuable too. Taking a class, learning a language, or developing a hobby creates experiences that stay with you for years.
That's because skills become part of who you are. An expensive possession may eventually break, become outdated, or lose its appeal. Knowledge and personal growth stay with you.
I recently started learning photography. I'm still a beginner, but the process itself has been rewarding. It gives me a new way to observe the world.
And that's something money alone can't provide. The camera is just a tool. The real value comes from the experience of learning and creating.
When people reach the later stages of life, they often remember moments rather than objects. They talk about people they met, places they visited, and lessons they learned.
Which suggests that meaningful experiences often leave a deeper impact than material possessions.
And perhaps that's another reason money can't buy everything. It can purchase opportunities, but the memories themselves are created by how we live those opportunities.
That naturally leads to another question. How do we define success? For many people, success and money seem almost identical.
That's true, but I think definitions of success vary greatly from person to person. Some people focus on income, while others focus on personal satisfaction.
Earlier in my life, I measured success mainly through career goals. If I reached a target, I felt successful. If I didn't, I felt disappointed.
Did your view change over time?
Yes, I realized that achievement alone wasn't enough. Reaching goals felt good, but I also wanted purpose in what I was doing.
I can relate to that. Career satisfaction isn't only about earning money, it's also about whether your work feels meaningful.
Some people earn less money but genuinely enjoy their work. Others earn a great deal yet feel disconnected from what they do every day.
That's why purpose matters so much. People want to feel that their efforts contribute to something worthwhile.
Helping others is one example. Even small acts of kindness can create a sense of fulfillment.
I once volunteered at a community event. I didn't receive any financial reward, but I left feeling surprisingly happy.
That's because contribution creates a different kind of satisfaction. It reminds us that success isn't always about personal gain.
I think society sometimes sends a narrow message about success. We often celebrate wealth while paying less attention to character, relationships, and positive impact.
Yet many of the people we admire most are remembered for how they helped others, not simply for what they owned.
That's an important distinction. Success may include financial stability, but it can also include growth, service, learning, and fulfillment.
In other words, success becomes much richer when it's connected to purpose rather than money alone.
And when people discover that balance, they often find a deeper sense of meaning in their lives.
Over the years, I've come across many real-life stories that support everything we've been discussing today.
Me too. One story that stayed with me involved a businessman who achieved tremendous financial success. From the outside, his life looked perfect.
What happened? During an interview, he admitted that he felt isolated. He spent years building his business, but neglected many personal relationships along the way. That's a powerful example. Wealth provided comfort, but it couldn't automatically provide happiness or connection. On the other hand, I've also met people with ordinary jobs who seemed genuinely content. They weren't wealthy, but they appreciated what they had. Gratitude plays a major role in that. People who focus on what they already have often seem more peaceful than those constantly chasing more. I remember speaking with a retired teacher once. She never became rich, yet she felt proud of the lives she had influenced. That's wonderful. Her sense of fulfillment came from her impact on others rather than her financial status. She also had great wisdom. She said that every stage of life teaches something valuable if you're willing to learn. I like that perspective. It reminds us that life's lessons often come from experience rather than wealth. Looking back, one lesson I've learned is that money works best as a tool. It's useful and important, but it shouldn't become the center of everything. I've learned something similar. Financial goals matter, but relationships, health, purpose, and personal growth deserve equal attention. Another lesson is that comparison can steal happiness. There will always be someone who has more. That's why gratitude is so important. It helps us recognize the good things already present in our lives. And perhaps the biggest lesson is that fulfillment comes from a combination of factors, not from a single achievement or number in a bank account. When people understand that, they often become more balanced, more appreciative, and more focused on what truly matters. And those lessons may be among the most valuable things we gain throughout our lives. As we reach the end of our conversation, I think it's a good moment to reflect on everything we've discussed. We started with a simple phrase, money can't buy everything, and we discovered that it touches many different parts of life. It really does. We talked about happiness, friendships, family, health, time, experiences, and success. Each topic showed us that while money is useful, it has limits. One thing I've taken away from this discussion is that money can certainly improve our lives in many practical ways. It can provide comfort, security, education, transportation, and opportunities. It can also help people solve problems, reduce financial pressure, and create a more stable future. Those benefits are important and shouldn't be ignored. At the same time, some of the most valuable things in life cannot be purchased. We can't buy genuine loyalty from a friend. We can't buy meaningful family relationships. We can't buy more hours in a day. And while money can help us care for our health, it cannot guarantee perfect health. That's why taking care of ourselves remains so important. We also talked about experiences and memories. Many people discover that meaningful moments often stay with them much longer than expensive possessions. That's something I find encouraging. It means that a rich life isn't defined only by how much money someone earns. It's also shaped by the people they love, the lessons they learn, and the experiences they collect. Another important theme was purpose. People often feel most fulfilled when they have a reason to get up in the morning that goes beyond financial goals. Purpose can come from work, family, creativity, learning, helping others, and many other sources. It's different for everyone. Before we finish, let's leave our listeners with a few questions to think about. What brings you the greatest happiness in your life right now? What are some memories that you value most? Are they connected to things you bought, or are they connected to people and experiences? Who are the people whose loyalty and support have helped you during difficult times? And how do you define success? Does your definition focus only on money, or does it include health, relationships, personal growth, and purpose? I think those questions are worth revisiting throughout life because our answers may change as we grow and gain new experiences. That's very true. Life has a way of teaching us new lessons when we least expect them. One final thought from me is this: work hard, pursue your goals, and make wise financial decisions, but don't forget to appreciate the things that money cannot buy. And remember to practice gratitude for the people, opportunities, and moments that make life meaningful. Those are often the treasures that matter most in the end. Thank you for spending this time with us. We hope this conversation has given you something valuable to think about. Take care of yourself, value what truly matters, and we'll see you again in another conversation.